Hey guys, it's Yanni, and today I'm reviewing the iPad 6th generation that I have right here. I've had this for about, my mom has this for about 2 years. She got it in 2019. I'm going to be reviewing how well it has been doing over the past 2 years and see if you should upgrade or just get a newer model, or just keep this for at least a year or two more. And I'm going to start off with design, Geekbench, performance, processor, camera, and at the end I'm going to give my final verdict to see if you should upgrade or just keep it and wait for another year. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, let's start off with the design. You got I'm gonna start off with around the iPad, and then I'm gonna go to Geekbench, as I said before. So first up, you got your home button right here, so you unlock it, and it's right there to HD really fast. You got your two speaker grills, so we go to later, and you got your lightning connector, which is pretty good, going around there. You got your chamfered edges, and these things are pretty thin, so that's really good. And then you got a little chamfer inch that got kind of hit right there. Got hit sadly. And over here you got your regular iPad, your volume off buttons, off, down, on, up, power on, wave button, and then you got your two microphones here that we'll talk about later. You got 1.2 megapixel selfie, and if you look really closely, there is a little microphone beneath the selfie camera. And then you got your headphone jack, and then you got home button, and the rest of the iPad with Apple California, and the camera bump right there. So that's pretty good. But design-wise, it is the classic iPad with the chamfered edges that was introduced in 2013, if I'm right. And so yeah, it's pretty good. Now let's talk about Geekbench. So let's go into Geekbench to see how well it does. So in Geekbench 4, I have it right here, and the iPad A10 the iPad 6th generation has the A10 Bionic chip with the iOS platform is running iOS 14.3, and for this, I'm looking at the score. I'm looking at the score right now, and the score actually is it says right here it was uploaded on January 18th, so that was the day before. It has the single core score is 756, and the multi-core score is 1402. So that's pretty decent numbers there. I'm going to post the photo on the screenshot right there on the screen so you guys can see it. And actually it is pretty decent. The performance single core score is pretty good, and for just regular tasks, the iPad is really good. Performance wise, this thing is amazing. You can just go up in YouTube, upload it, and it's really good. And files, everything opens it really snappy and fast. And overall it's super good for regular tasks. In video editing, we're gonna get that a little bit later. We're gonna get video editing just a little bit later, and then we'll see how good it does, and just overall seeing the video editing performance. So that is pretty good. So overall performance is really good. And for video editing, I'm gonna go for video editing right now and seeing how the performance right now when it comes to video, and we'll get our results back in just a few moments. Okay guys, I am back, and I already have an 8-minute 4K 30 FPS video clip that I have right here. I'm going to turn it to 4K, and I've turned the Wi-Fi off, so everything can work really good, smooth. So I'm going to be seeing how good this thing can video export with. This has film grading applied, color grading, and just some effects I threw in the way. So I'm going to be seeing how good it does that. And the thing is about 2 gigabytes and 100 megabytes, something like that, so it can take a while to export. But 6 FPS, and I'll turn to 30 FPS, so now it's 1.4 gigabytes. So then I'm going to come back and see how good the test results. I'm going to have a stopwatch. I'm just going to turn up the stopwatch here on the iPad, and then we'll get into battery life and other things that we need. So I'm going to just get the stopwatch up here. There we go. Like this. There we go. Stopwatch, and start. And it's already exporting. So I'll be back with the final results, and so yeah, be right back. Okay guys, this is amazing. So the iPad 6th generation score, not the score, the time I did was 5 minutes 50 seconds, 0.55 milliseconds, I guess, or deciseconds, I don't really know. But the point is that it finished in 5 minutes and 50 seconds, which is pretty good. That's about what, 1.5 to 1 minute, so that's pretty good. That was a 4K video exporting clip, which was awesome. And uploading videos, I use an iPad Air 3, it's over there. But this thing actually worked really well, so exporting videos is pretty good too. This was without Wi-Fi, and the battery life wasn't suffered too much, so that is pretty good. So 4K editing, it is doable, but it'll take a little bit of time, but I guess it is pretty good. So guys, for now, let's get into the screen. So the screen is an LCD, it is 400 nits max brightness, and it's not laminated, so there's a pretty big line of black gap, like the non-laminated glass. So viewing angles will be kind of bad too. So it's not that big that we will notice it, but you can actually notice it if you're actually paying attention to it. And for the screen refresh rate, it's 60 Hz. at 60 hertz, which is pretty decent. Apple makes one of the smoothest 60 hertz displays you can find on the market. And max brightness is 400 nits. So 400 nits in the daylight, if you're, let's say, in California, Texas, like countries that have states that are like the countries that have like too much sun, definitely go for like the Air or the Pro, or like the Apple lineup that has better brightness. Because this 400 nits, it's doable inside, but outside it's almost on full display brightness, and which kind of brings the battery life a lot. So this thing is pretty good, and the screen is awesome for viewing YouTube videos. Like the most YouTube videos you can have is 1080p. So let me just find if it's 1080p here, and let me just get it online with the Wi-Fi thingy going. So I'm going to show you how good it looks in 1080p, and then we'll just show you how good it does. And then we're going to show you how good it is, and then I'm going to post it like on the picture-in-picture mode for 1080p, because our Wi-Fi is up to 720p, never mind. So just find one that actually works, that is 1080p. Here we go. I think here's one. Yep, here's one. And just screen record. Go to 1080p here. Let's wait for that sync. So I'm going to put it on the screen right now. I'll take a look at how well it does in 1080p. So that's the max you can do. And look where it is. So yeah, it actually does a pretty good job in 1080p video. It's not that good as the iPad Air 3, because like 40p still looks pretty decent. But people who have like less fast Wi-Fi that don't support 1020p or even 1080p, 480p will look decent. And on the iPad Air 3, it has 4K. This does not support 4K, sadly, because this one can't really run it. But like on different iPads, from the 2017 iPad Pro, I think the iPad 8th generation supports it. So maybe that does. So yeah. So screen recording and just like screen watching for iPads, this thing is pretty good. It supports HD, so that is really good. So now let's get on to the A10 Bionic chip. Guys, so the 10th gen Bionic chip is really good. The A10 Bionic chip is awesome. It has 2.7 gigahertz of running speed, 2.77 gigahertz of running speed, so that is really good. And overall, just watching videos, sending emails, sending text, receiving text, like watching videos, this thing is awesome for that. It can handle it with no sweat. Once you start getting into video editing, and it starts heating up, the iPad starts heating up, and I can actually feel it when I'm video editing on this thing, which I don't really edit on this iPad, the iPad Air. You can actually feel the thing start to heat up, especially like right by the Apple logo, which is somewhere right here. So that is kind of a problem, but overall it is pretty good. And for the 2 gigabytes of RAM this thing has, it has 2 gigabytes of RAM, which this day is not enough, but it will do. So my mom always has she has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. She has 16 tabs open, and I don't know why she does that. She just likes keeping tabs in there. So I like searching NBA, NFL. So I have like extra tabs here and there that she likes to open, and I do use it sometimes. So like so like the RAM on this thing is pretty good. It can open text, no sweat, and overall the RAM is pretty good. Website loads a little bit slower, of course, but overall the 2 gigabytes of RAM it's decent, but it struggles a little bit. So if you think about 2 gigabytes of RAM, this thing will definitely is decent, but it's not enough. And if you're thinking of upgrading it just because of the RAM, I wouldn't really do it, because like I guess it would be better to go in the iPad Air that has 4 gigabytes, or even the Pro, which has 6 gigabytes. But I mean, overall, it's just like 2 gigabytes more, or 4. But I mean, that's gonna make it deal bigger for some people. But for me, that really wouldn't be that much. So if I had this, I would just keep it for the RAM, and overall, just for like watching videos and overall. And this does support the first generation Apple Pencil for those artists who are interested in keeping it or upgrading to the Pro, or they will support the 2nd gen Apple Pencil, which is much better. So yeah, that's how the A10 Bionic chip performs. That's pretty good. Now let's get to the battery life, and then we're gonna get to the camera, and then the final verdict. Okay, so the battery life on this thing it has milliamp hours is 1,893, which is pretty decent. And the hours Apple rates it on its website, well, it used to rates on the website from over 8 to 10 hours, or even 10 hours as they say. But this thing can last you over 10 hours. It usually lasts me about 13 hours in a day. Well, my mom uses it for music, and we always have it about the peak brightness. So if it starts 100% a day, it can definitely go down all the way to like 10 or 20%. On good days, it can last us to 20 to 30%. After using hard use, we use it for singing hymns, for in songs, reading, writing, stuff like that. So this thing This thing is really good. And also for you guys that are interested, for the display resolution in the Pixel is 248 times 1536. I forgot to mention that. And yeah, and this comes with 32 gigabytes internal storage, as does the 8th gen and 7th gen models. So just those who are interested. and the battery life is actually awesome. So you can watch exporting videos actually takes a little bit of time. So this battery is pretty old, but it can still last us over a day easily. I'll probably finish up with 20%, as I said before. And video editing is when the battery life actually suffers from this thing. So for video editing, if I did like the 4K export, it wasted like 3%, which isn't really much. But for you're video editing with 50%, that would mean you have 12% left. So it does, battery life does it differences with like many of the things that you see if you're just watching YouTube videos. They'll probably waste 1% in probably like 20 minutes or 30. So for video editing, it can actually go down. The battery life can actually suffer a lot. But for just regular tasks, multitasking, everything is so smooth. So you won't even notice battery life is going down. So battery life is really good. So now let's talk about the cameras. The front camera has a 1.2 megapixel sensor, and that has lightning. So let me just take a photo, and it has live photo. Just if you're interested, just take a photo. And I can show you guys later. I'm gonna post on the screen right about now, so you guys can see it. It's in picture. So yeah, and for the front-facing camera, it has 8 megapixels. So I'm going to just turn it up, and it supports HDR photos, so that is pretty good. I'll just take a photo of a chair here. So there you go, I already took it, and there, so you guys can see it. And for video, it has for the front-facing camera, it has 720p, 30 FPS, and a good daylight. This thing is really good for video. And for the back camera, it has 1080p, 30 frames per second, so that is pretty good. And I sometimes even record my videos on this, like in soundbar headphones. I recorded on this because the iPhone wasn't here. I have an iPhone 5S that I use for video editing, so my videos aren't that good. Sorry, I'm trying to get a better camera soon. So yeah, but for video quality, this thing does pretty well. For Zoom calls, it is pretty good. And for the microphone, here's how they sound. Microphone quality test on the iPad 6th generation. The microphones there's one right about there. I don't know if you can see it's right there. It's a little tiny dot, and then there's 1 and 2 right there. So you're getting some microphones right there. Oh, wasp. There's one there and one over there. So tell me how this thing sounds. Sounds good? Yeah. Tell me how it sounds. So yeah, so there's the video right there you just watched. The microphones sound pretty decent, and all the cameras are good. I kind of use this for my video editing, but not that much. So overall, it is pretty good. And for my final verdict, should you upgrade for this iPad just for the battery life and other reasons that I mentioned? I would just stick around for if you want you need a newer iPad that your one's broken, then definitely upgrade for like the Air. It's about $600, and it has double the storage, so it starts at 64 gigabytes, and it has the A14 Bionic 4 generations ahead of this. And overall, like the Air is way better than this, and the Pro is you would need an iPad faster. Like right now, a good one. Definitely get the Air, or if you want or you should just wait for the Pro that's gonna come out in probably come out in about June. It's gonna have the A14X or even the M1. That's some leak bombs that just dropped. So maybe it has even the M1 chip from the Mac. So you see how good that is. It's just a wasp. You're gonna know how good it is. So definitely upgrade if it's broken or you're just need a new iPad for school and you think this one's too slow. I usually think it's pretty decent, but I would definitely upgrade because it's like you can keep another year if you want, but I wouldn't really want to. I guess this thing is pretty decent too, but I'm probably gonna upgrade. That's about it, guys. Thanks for watching my review, and I'll see you next time.